Yes, we are. We have the gear, the trout gear, and we are ready to go. The first go round for the 2023 season, and this is Trout Quest. Welcome to Trail Boss Saturday Mornings Outdoors. My name is Paul K, and we are in Southeast Mass, and it's open ice. It's 50 degrees, and we got the trout gear ready for the first quest for trout and try our luck and see how it is if I can catch me some supper. So stay tuned and let's see what we can do. I am so fired up, man. I got all the fishing show gear and all the strategies set in my mind and what we're gonna do, and I hope it doesn't flub. So let's go. Trail Boss, let you know. And we made it to the spot. So a couple quick tips. First to start out, and that is a good idea would be to see which way the prevailing wind is for the day. Like for instance, today it's from the south, which is in that direction. It's coming from the south going this way. On any lake or anywhere, you want to go, it's called the lee side. If it's coming from the south, go to the south side. Thereby, the wind is going to be blocking. It's always going to be calm that way. Well, 99% of the time, unless there's a hurricane. Because on the other side of the lake, this is a pretty big lake, because that's the north side, it's going to be all choppy. And I'm fishing with 4-pound test and 2-pound test, and it's not going to be good fishing. You want to be on the lee side always, no matter where you go, small little pond or lake, whatever. That's what you need to be doing for choosing a fishing spot. These trout have been stocked last week here, and I like to fish always near running water for trout, because when they were taken from the holding tanks, they're used to that bubbler going, and they're not really acclimated yet to feeding on natural insects. So one of my strategies is they're going to be going to the sounds of water, and trout naturally gravitate towards. This is basically a conveyor belt of food, and not only trout, but every kind of fish comes through there, no matter whether you're ice fishing or stuff gets swept through, little minnows and crayfish and all that, and the fish stage on either side and just suck up the fish as it goes by. Most amount of protein for the least amount of energy. That's pretty much it. So those are a few fundamental setup tips. And so the rod that I'm going to be using, well, first of all, these are 9-foot rods. The rods I was using last year, these specialized rods for trout, basically ultralight 9-footers, like a fly rod with a spinning reel on them. They're great. You really feel the fighting and get away with using 2 and 4-pound test. But the rig that I'm using for my power bait on this one particular rod is, earlier I did a show on the treble hooks with the spring. Well, there it is. There's the treble hook with the spring. Now, the idea is that spring holds the bait, and this is made especially for power bait, and if you're a cat fisherman or whatever. So the running line into my swivel, into my sliding sinker, the basic trout rig or slider rig, and that's for the bait. And then I'll be throwing assorted lures on this rod. Unless the power bait really hooks up, then I'll go to both power baits. I really want supper tonight. I want to fillet up these fish, and let's get to fishing. So let's try the treble hook spring holding qualities. Another cool tip, took me a while to learn with power bait, I'm using corn flavored today, is wet your hands before you make your ball get up in there, and you'll find that it does not stick. If you don't wet your hands and your hands are dry, look at it, see, it doesn't even stick to my fingers. But if you wet your hands, it's absolutely great. So let's try hope I can do this. See if I can get this one. Set this up. You want to get it, just squeeze it, and it gets all up in that spring, and it holds it in there. Look at that. See, now I'd be trying to work it for a few minutes, with a regular single hook, but that's what these are made for. Look at that, man. That is just probably how it's supposed to be. All right, let's get her out there. So the final touch, now my bait is out there, is I get my little jingly bell, pull it down somewhat, like that. I'll show you, hang on. Attach it to your line so it's hanging like that. So when something takes it, the bell's gonna ride up. You can use it for striper fishing at night too. That is the sound of fish when that thing goes ding. But when you're working on something else and not paying attention, that'll alert you to a strike. So I changed my strategy. I already got 2 hits on this one, but I'm just learning with these trebles. I gotta let them take it and then hit. Let them swallow it. I'm gonna keep these fish with the trebles. And I got 2 hits, so I went straight to power bait. What I wanted to say was, last year, if you watched the last video of the first trout season, trout trip, I ran into some problem with the immigrants. They see you catch a fish, and if you're combat fishing around near a whole bunch of people, if you pull a fish in, they just come. They have no problem. I don't know. I guess they don't know how we go, but they'll come right in your spot and throw right where you were fishing. And in this country, we don't do that. And no matter what you try to do to explain to them, other than using force, you're almost every time forced to get up in their face and tell them to leave, because they'll come right in your spot, fresh or salt water. So anyway, to avoid all that, I picked a nice quiet spot, and I'd rather not have the confrontation and maybe catch a fish or 2 less, which I know this is a good spot. I'm not thinking that way, but just I'm here to have a beautiful time and show you guys about trout fishing, and I'm not here to fight Chinese families, you know. So I'm sorry, I'm not prejudiced. I call them like I see them. If they're American idiots, I'd say they're American, but they're not. It's the Chinese and Russians and every other sort of immigrant that just follow our rules and our traditions, that's all. Maybe they do that in China, but please don't do that here. Anyway, that's my editorial for this go around, and I hope I don't insult anybody, but I think every real fisherman knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is real freedom to me. I got my fishing lines out, my bills are paid, nothing to worry about. No one will bother you. Pretty much away from people. It comes after a while that people are awesome, but getting philosophical, most of your problems come from people. So, hey, wait, I'm a people. But it's beautiful to get out, especially after cabin fever and first trout season, first fishing trip of the season. It's wonderful to get out. Been getting small hits. I haven't been able to hook up. I don't know if they're sunfish eating on this corn-flavored power bait, or been there for about an hour and a half and rolling on through and really enjoying this first excursion. Let you know. It pays to keep your eyes open when you're fishing, always. I have found so much stuff. I just found this on the ground. Nice little, I don't know who makes it. It's not a wrap. Or maybe it is a wrap, but found so much gear, salt and freshwater. It's a bonus. Keep your eyes open. Well, keep playing near the water. Eventually you're gonna fall in. Falling up to my knees. The water's pretty cold. I was trying to get out on those rocks. And of course, one wasn't balanced and Splash City. So it's all part of it. Hopefully that's good. And yet another bonus. I snagged a lure on the way in. Been in there for a little while. You can tell by the tarnish, half silver, but that's a nice little lure. I want fish though. So there it is, first trout of 23. Is either film the trout or let the trout get away. Just like in deer hunting, I'm gonna take the shot first and then film it. It's just me film it, but beauty, we got supper. First trout of 23. Woohoo! Yeah, on the board. Damn, it feels good. Yeah. This doesn't have zoom, unfortunately, but if you look right there in that hummock, there's a goose on her nest. There's a nest right there. And a long time, there's always been a nest there. Seems like they nest every year, all up in there, all up in this area. But there's a goose on a nest right there, right now. I've gone up to them in a canoe, and they don't budge until you get 2 inches from them. Then they take off. But you know, it's not sporting to get that close to them. I was very curious and young then when I did that. But cool stuff to see. It's that time of year. Spring is springifying. Well, the wind's picking up pretty strong. I can barely castrate, get it? Never mind. So it's getting choppy, and it's hard to keep track of the lines. So broke the ice and had a good time today. Feel refreshed, you know, during the beautiful spring. And you guys should be getting out here too. That's the point of some of these videos, most of these videos. So with that, hope you like this opener and got me some trout to fry tonight. And we'll see you next week on Saturday Mornings Outdoors. Bye. See you next week.